Okay, so I was just telling them I'm so excited about this class because sometimes I listen to classes and I'm like listening and it's fine and good and whatever, and sometimes I can't stop writing the whole time. So this was like a full on, like I literally was just writing nonstop for the past 48 minutes.
Okay.
So I hope it's not too much me talking, but it's worth it, guys. It's gonna be good because it's not stom. How do I get back? Oh, here. I don't know where all my technical skills went. Okay, yes, we're here. Okay, so welcome. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Hashem, that I get to be here and we can learn together. Beginning of this.
I'm so happy about the music.
I know, me too.
It was such a drawback.
I know. It's so limiting. No longer. We're not going to be limited anymore. We're heading towards beyond limitation.
Right.
That's what's happening. That's what's happening in the world. It's
Yes.
a little uncomfortable process,
Yeah.
but we're going somewhere good. This is a good thing. We're going to be able to hear the music. Bottom line.
Okay.
So good. So our learning and singing and creating and understanding and integrating should be a tzchus for Am Yisrael. We hear good news right away, and all of everything that seems off and not good should clarify and be turned for the good. Everything should turn for the good. We should hear good news right away in the middle of the class before the class is over. Even just hear like, wow, news that everything is as it should be, where truth and justice and Hashem's light is shining in the world, and sheker and darkness is done. It's over. Hashem. Okay, so the introduction. I'll give a little introduction, and I think I'll try to hold back from going too far into it, and we'll get into painting pretty early. But maybe you could also listen while painting, and I also want to paint. So everything that we're learning is from a class I listened to from Rav Reuven Sasson Shlita. He's amazing. If you ever want to listen, he speaks in fast Hebrew, which could be fine, but he's a huge light in our generation. He's like a tiny man with a high pitched voice with so much koach, it's amazing. He's like a rocket. He's mamish amazing. And he's talking about, in our parsha, the whole thing of Naseh v'nishma. We usually think we don't usually, maybe we do, but in general, don't really think of the giving of the Torah is Parshat Mishpatim. You think it's Yitro, or you think it's Bahar, where it's straight up, the Torah is being received, right? And the truth is that Mishpatim is like a continuation, as we know, of Yitro. It says a Vav in between, right? And so it's connected. They're really one parsha. And so the whole thing is the giving of the Torah. And Mishpatim is this other type of Torah where it's getting into the details and the problems and working things out, and the instead of the big lights and wow, Hashem Gadol, Hashem is so awesome, how do I actually work it out with my neighbor and all the kind of stuff that we deal with all the time. So we don't really think Naseh v'nishma would be related to Mishpatim. Why would it be? It doesn't go with it, but that's when it comes. That's when it's actually said. That's when we said Naseh v'nishma is in Parshat Mishpatim, which is super interesting that that's when it comes. And he actually said somewhere in this class, he said, it comes up 3 times, Naseh, and only 1 time, Naseh v'nishma. So Naseh, I caught the first Naseh is in Yitro. It might be twice, and it's just Naseh. It's not Naseh v'nishma. We say that we'll do it, and in Parshat Mishpatim towards the end we say Naseh v'nishma. We'll do it and we'll understand. And this is the famous idea, and everything that he's sharing that I'm going to share is all things that we've heard. It's just we have to get it. We have to hear it and actually really hear it and let ourselves hear it and let ourselves live like that we heard it and we're hearing it all the time, because Hashem is always remaking the creation constantly. The creation, everything is new. And so we should really actually be hearing these things all of the time. All the time. So as an introduction, we're gonna get to this point about the Naseh v'nishma. But as an introduction, something really, really cool that he was saying is that it's known, we all know in our generation, we need like the people want depth. They want the deep meaning. They want the light of the Torah. It's obvious, and we need it. And I like to bring up all the time how Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said when he brought down the Zohar Kodesh, it's like the highest Torah. If you've ever opened it and read it, if you haven't, do. But like, when you do, you read it, it's like you're like taking on a trip, like for real, like a journey. Like it's flowing, and suddenly it's a story, and it's this and it's that, and it's like a dream, and it's Torah, and it's the panimiut of the Torah, meaning it's this like inner depth of what it's really all about. And Rabbi Shimon said there's going to come a day when my Torah, when the Zohar Kodesh is going to be as important as his water. As like we need water to drink, to live, we need this Torah. And these are the times that we are living in. And it's a big zchut, and it's also a challenge because it's different. Like this is special to our generation. This never was before. And so it's kind of like how we need a new education system in general. Like, suddenly people hopefully are realizing like this doesn't exactly work like as much as we need it to. Also, like on this spiritual level, the shift of what is the real education that we need also is happening, and also needs to happen, and we need to even understand what that means, because that's the big question. We know, maybe we already know it needs to happen, but then what does it mean? So I do think that this program and opening up our hearts and our hearts, our minds, and our creativity is the direction, personally. And I think we'll find out. In being open to it. So he says that it comes up the Torah is compared to a lot of different things. The Torah is compared to bread. The Torah is compared to wine. It's compared to water. It's compared to meat. I don't know where the sources are exactly, but he quoted each one. As we know, it comes up. But why? Why is the Torah compared to all of these different things? So the explanation, without getting deep into the Kabbalah of it all, is that just like all of creation is sustained on levels, right? Everything except the domain, which is the lowest level of creation, which is like rocks, which is inanimate objects. Even though they have a life force to them, they don't need to be watered or nourished in any way to exist. But everything above that, plants need water and sunshine and upward, right? We understand that just from Bachush, like in our experience of being in the world. And there's all these levels, right? Like the plants are the next level, the animals are the next level, they eat the plants, and the people, okay? And then we're going up and up in levels. And our souls also have levels. And our soul, we have the neshama, we have the nefesh and the ruach and the neshama, which are the most, popular talked about levels of the soul. And each one of these levels also needs its nourishment to grow. And so when you think about it, the way that we live, the way that we grow, like a child is born and we grow until we're around, 20, 23, I heard. Like physically, we actually become our full adult self at around 20, 23 years old. And so then what? What's the rest of life? Like if we get to the point of being, full grown, so then what? So all of the other levels of our soul continue to grow, and we continue to need to nourish them. So the ruach and the neshama, the level of machshava, of thinking, of the heart, of the soul, all these different layers and levels of ourselves continue to need to be nourished. And how do we nourish them? Through the Torah, right? There's the whole, normally when we hear you have to make yourself time to learn Torah, it's like, oy vey, like, it's a law and you have to do it, and if you don't do it, you're in trouble, the end. Actually, that's not the point at all. The point is this. The point is what we're talking about now. Just like when we get up in the morning and later on in the day, we eat and we drink, like we to live. That's what it means to make times for Torah, because we need to live. Like we need to nourish these aspects of ourselves, which are soul levels. And this deepest, highest Torah that's coming through in our generation, that's so much needed in our generation, is it's important for these levels of our soul to really feel okay. Otherwise, people are like, "What's going on here? What is this even about?" That's where we're finding people are drawn to the deepest and the highest Torahs because they're thirsty and they're hungry, they're in their soul, right? So, okay, good. So, what Torah does, and this is also, it's important just also for, understanding, I mean, in our generation, in our times, in all of modern times, the focus of reality of the Western world of education and building is very much based on seichel. It's very much based on knowing. The more you know, because it's amazing. All the development of it in the modern world. You can make an airplane, you can make it fly, you can get to the moon, you can do all of these amazing things through seichel, right? But the thing is, if and when the whole education system is based on only seichel, it's a very sad situation. People are angry and they're like closing in on themselves. They're depressed. They don't know why they're in the world. As amazing as it all is, like everything. Like I have so one of my daughters was just traveling in the world in Southeast Asia for like half a year, and so she made friends from different places. And one of her friends, a very cute friend from India, and she lives in Japan. Okay, whatever, like the traveling, interesting scene at the moment. So it's fun for me also because we're similar, me and my daughter. So like her friends, I find it super interesting, and she was saying she lives in Japan. Japan is like the most set up place you could imagine, like world class, everything works, clean, organized, everything, and it has the highest suicide rate, like very high, like very bad scene. So this is the point, meaning like with seichel you can go so far, and if the soul isn't nourished, the person doesn't know what they're doing in the world, and they don't have purpose. They don't, and they're also not nourishing and growing themselves, and so they feel terrible and they don't understand why they're in the world. Shalom Nida from these terrible things, but this is part of why we're needed. This is part of why the Jewish people is needed to come, and we're like all about all this stuff, and we've been talking about it all the time. But we also need to go up whatever levels we need to go to be able to actually share this with the whole world, right? That's the idea of being the light to the nations, is that they will get this nourishment, that they'll get this type of nourishment, and therefore it's going to be really amazing. We already knew that, but like when you start to think about it in this way, it's like it's really going to be very amazing, because it's going to be a combination of the highest levels of everything, with the nourishment of the soul, with the tzedek, with justice, with people treating each other the way they should, and which only builds and nourishes the soul and makes simcha, makes it a joyous life. Like Jews like party all the time. We love to party. It's not just that we love to party, because we're living life, and we only know that because of the Torah. That's the gift. It's not just like it's not like a side point that it's fun and we like it. And we like bagels and sushi. It's not. It's so much more than that. And then we make a Suda about everything and all that. It's because we're living, because we're nursing our soul with the Torah.
So my two sons with a friend, they're skiing right now, and they sent a little video of them singing on the way up on the mountain, on the gondola or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were saying L'chaim's also.
Yeah. So this is, and I'm sharing all this because I got very excited about it, but I think it's important. I think it's really, really important, because everything is a kol afili istaklut. How we look at the world is everything. That's how we experience the world. So when we kind of flesh these things out and understand how awesome this is, that we get to live like this, it's like the simplest things that we kind of take for granted is like part of that's what we do. There's a bris, you have a party, blah, blah, blah. It's like it could just be so nourishing knowing that, and you can look around and see everyone else getting nourished and tell each other, and then we're gonna keep like lifting up and building and growing and living with this joy of life. And so a very important point, and this is like the takeaway, if there's a takeaway of this class, there's a couple, but this one's like high level, is he talks so fast. I didn't get the source, but I could look after if you want. I want, but like I didn't have it written down. Is he says that it's a law. It's like a halacha, or it's a spiritual law. Maybe not a halacha. It's a spiritual law that you have to learn the Torah that you want, that you're interested in. Yeah, he said a source and I couldn't catch it. It was said so fast.
You have to learn the Torah what?
That you're drawn to, that you love. So, and there's something like, even if you learn a part of the Torah that you don't like, or you don't like, there's like something wrong with that. Actually, you're not supposed to go there. I mean, probably not at all. You don't want to not know it, but you're not going to spend your life focusing on that. Like which is like, I love hearing that, because I know from my life experience that I have so much bracha in my life because I listened to myself in this way in my life. With Torah and in general, and it brought me here. Like, it brought me to Israel, it brought me to Torah, it brought me to art, it brought me to this house, it brought me to all of these things. And it's a very specific way of living that most people don't actually do. Like, we have to remember to that it's not just, okay, I'll let myself do it because I like it. We have to. That's what we need to do. Because our soul is asking us for the right nourishment. It's like, not everybody's going to eat gluten. Not everybody's going to eat vegetables, whatever it might. I mean, everyone should eat vegetables. But you know what I mean? Like, there's like the different diets that a person can eat. The soul wants what it wants. It's such a beautiful, cool thing that's the reality.
It's like going to the Rebbe. You're called for it.
Right. Also your Rebbe. And finding your Rebbe, and who you connect to, and being, not only being fine with that, but being into it, like letting ourselves, like really, the uniqueness, this whatever. I don't really want to go there, but like the I'll say where I do want to go. The importance of the uniqueness of every individual Jew is like, it's a pinnacle thing. It's so important, and if and when the system that has been is saying something else, like we all need to be the same and just do this is the education system, just do this and that, like with love and respect, because all they want is to do good, and it's coming from like historical, gullus reasons, that way of thinking. It's just to, with love, know, and even in the right environments and situations and people say, like, we're coming to a more expansive realm at this point. That's the past. At least to live it for ourselves, if it's not the time to like say it directly to whoever. But I think it is, honestly, because what I've noticed with this type of teaching and what we're doing here, you see popping up all over Yerushalayim and everywhere, these kinds of classes in like the most, stark, straight midrashot. They're having art class, like mamash, like it's happening. Mm-hmm. So but it needs to really happen, meaning we also want it to really happen. That's why we're here. And for it to really happen, this is just me saying, I feel is that, we need to encourage it in each other, right? It's like, we need encouragement to do these kind of things, right? It's not easy to get yourself to open up and draw and paint, even if you like it and know it. I've been doing this for so long. That doesn't mean it's easy for me to do it. I have to break through something every time to do it. And I don't always like what I do. And so encouragement is like huge, and then there's like that starting point of getting to a flow of creativity that is really the hardest hurdle, which is the beginning. Say for example, there's a child who's encouraged from childhood all the way to be creative, and they never get that. It's like in an ideal situation, they never get an adult telling them like, actually, you don't color out of the lines and this and that, and they said like, oh, I can't do this, I'm doing it wrong, shut, done. Like, it happens to everyone, right? So first of all, it shouldn't happen to everyone. At some point, it's not going to happen to everyone. It already did, so then there's the healing of that. But there's, however much it happened, the more needs to be undone to be unschooled or whatever, to be free to be real. It's something very beautiful, the expression of every single person. Actually, it's something very important and essential. And just like someone needs to be given like the strength and the tools and the encouragement to learn how to read and to learn Gemara and to all the different things that we learn how to do. Also the creative side, also the expressive side in any and all ways. Okay, so like, since we're here and we have the like inner Torah that's speaking to us and telling us this, so if we know, so then we must be. I imagine we're going to be finding ourselves in a position where we're talking to someone, or we're in a situation where we can at least know from the inside in our heart and hold that space of how real it is to be so real and learn the Torah that we're really into, because it's going to come up, like, especially because we're saying it, right? Which is good. It's a good thing. But then to be able to hold that space in the world, and just like Rav Kook says, by one person doing real avoda, it affects the whole world. And knowing that also. And that's also eventually will be taught in all of the classes, and we'll be encouraged in that way. Until it happens, we have to do it from the inside out. It's all from the inside out. And eventually, like, the actual learning environments will be all like that, I'm guessing. We're heading there.
Yes.
Thank you for giving the environment to go in such a wonderful direction. I'm so blessed that I get to know that this exists and be a part of it in whatever way I can. So, okay, good. So I think let's start. I don't want to just talk the whole time because I see that I could. I said in the beginning because I got excited. Here's paper. There's actually more paper if you want. Oh, there's brushes. You guys have water set up? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
think that they have.
If you need anything, just tell me. And I think the starting point. Let's just say, like, the type of Torah that we're talking about is from the inside out. It's called Pnimiut Torah. It's the inside of the Torah. So let's be literal. I love to try to apply the ideas to a visual, right? So let's be literal and start from the middle. That's your only instruction. Start from the middle, and from this place of what is that feeling of going towards even being able to listen to myself. What do I love? What do I want to learn? What do I learn? And I'm like the way I'm acting now. Like when I heard this class and I'm like, I could listen to that class 10 times and just be probably happier and happier until I memorized it. That's me. And not everyone is me. Everyone is themselves, which is the beauty of it, right? We each have so that it can be very abstract. You can just be thinking about that and put some colors in a circle, like me, where am I resonating? And think. I'm sure there's moments in life where you heard something, or a direction. Maybe it's midrash. Maybe it's, Rabbi Nachman's stories. I don't know, whatever, anything. It could be mamash anything. It could be halacha. It could be anything. But your soul knows. That's the whole point of this class, is that naseh v'nishma. We're going to get there. I want to share with you guys, you can continue, you can paint, and I want to keep telling you because it's so beautiful. But this idea of naseh v'nishma is it's not about our connection with Hashem and holiness and the Torah. It's not through seichel. It's not seichel. The intellect is a very limited thing, like we were saying before. A country, I don't know, people, whatever, Japan is an example. There's many examples actually, but Japan's a prime example, which could be, the highest development of intelligence and putting it into practice. It's mamish amazing, and they're miserable. They're miserable people. It's so sad. I have on the ground proof. I'm not I read an article. I'm talking to someone who's there. My daughter is, but I met her and she says hi to me every time. And I'm curious, and it came up and we talked about it, and it's what a and it's a problem just about everywhere. This, Rav Shmuel likes to bring this up. Rav Shmuel likes to bring this up of how, they do these like a mechkar, how do you say it? Like that you check like who's the happiest countries in the world. Like Israel's one of the highest ones up. And you think about all the stuff we go through. We're in the news all the time for it being the most balagan and everyone this and that and they're at us and we're the happiest people. Like it's like in the top few countries we're one of the happiest.
It's amazing. I'm always so surprised at the chart.
Yeah.
That
it's mamish amazing.
Yeah.
And this is why. And everyone should get to the top of the chart. Like that's the thing. Like that's what we want. We don't we're not like, okay, we got it. We're the happiest people. We're here for this. We're here to be like we're Mamlechet Kohanim. We're coming around to the point where the nations of the world are gonna come and ask us, and they already are. How do you live? Like how it's happening already, where there's these unbelievable, amazing stories. And the one with someone in the Italian government who came to, so Rav Shmuel's son, Rav Amichai, is in the government, and he was meeting with a government official in Italy. And this was before the war broke out, so like it didn't go through because of the war or whatever, timing or whatever. But they had literally meetings where they were talking about. He said to him, we need you, the Jewish people, to teach us how to live. We don't have good life. Our people are not having children. The birth rate doesn't add up, and it's going to be a country of old people's homes and no children to take care of them and run the country too soon. And we're doomed unless you teach us. We see you're thriving, and there's more and more children all of the time, and you're growing, and how do you do it? We need to learn this from you. I have an idea. It's like an actual reality that he said we have, in Rome, in the Vatican, in the underground, wherever, they have like the menorah and the ark and all the things that they took when they destroyed the temple. He said, we'll make a trade with you that you teach us how to live, and we'll give you back those things. And they had Rav Shmuel write a letter. It was like in process, and then the war broke out, and then he wasn't in touch with him again. But that happened.
It's coming.
It's that happened that's amazing. That's mamash amazing. Like that that even happened. That was even ever said and recorded, and it's a thing. It happened, and there's more stories like this. So there's one. I'll tell you one more story like that. Actually, it's also from Rav Shmuel. So he said he went to. I don't know, Abu Dhabi, one of the I think it was Abu Dhabi, to meet with one of the highest sheikhs in the country. He's not the highest. The highest one is a total anti-Semite, but he's like the one below. And he wanted to meet with a spiritual leader of Israel because he's saying, we want to make the world a good place, and we see that this tiny country that has everything against it, and you have the answers. We need to know. Please tell us. Please teach us so we can be a part of this, making the world a good place like you're doing. We want to do that too. And they had a whole meeting, and he wanted to understand the Torah. He wanted to learn. Like he did, they spoke in however they spoke with translators and whatever it was. This was like a few weeks ago, literally a couple of weeks ago. This happened. So this is also happening, and it's important to know. And it's from the inside out. So when sometimes you get like the inside story, which is very helpful. Like that's why I get so excited about this kind of class. For me, like these classes. Dafka in Hebrew, because there's something about it. Like I love the teachers that only speak give over in English. Not only, like say for example Y.Y. Jacobson, who's an amazing, unbelievable rabbi, and he gives over so awesome. He also teaches in Hebrew. It's a little bit hard for me to listen to him in Hebrew, and if I have the choice between listening to a class in English or Hebrew, I want to listen to a class in Hebrew because it's like exciting to hear those words. You know what I mean? Like, that's my soul telling me, like, that's what you like, so do that. Like, when I have 2 hours and I can choose which, like, they're both good. They're both Torah. It's all good, And if I choose the one that my soul is like, I'm acting like this after I'm this excited, that's what I should listen to. And this is true for all of us. This is the takeaway. Like, please, like, this is like a very big deal. because we can fly. We can go to where we need to go to with this. We need to go to like very high places, and it's meduyak. It's not like just, okay, in general, I'm a Torah person and I'm here and I'm into it. It's not general. We're unique people. We have our fingerprint. No one else had it ever. We have our soul that came to the world for something very specific, and it's all very related to expression. Like, that's the thing about like trying to get it to come through with art or with words or with cooking or whatever it might be, because we're a speaking soul. So this, whatever it is, that very specific, unique thing that's inside of me that needs to come out, it needs to find a way. It could be movement, it could be singing, it could be drawing. It doesn't matter. Whatever, also with that, whatever it is that's calling you. You know, for myself, when I started first getting into art, I was like, I took when I took my first painting class, same thing. It's this. I was just like, I love this. Like, I love doing it. I will always love it. It's just obvious. And I find everything interesting. I do all kinds of stuff in sculpture and ceramics. It's fun and it's nice. But like when I paint, I'm like, and Baruch Hashem, that like Hashem led me in that way where I focused on it. I heard myself. I saw my own reaction to it in that way, and I said, even though nobody in the world was telling me, yes, paint, like, you know, major in art at Princeton, what a great idea. Like, nobody said that. Who would say that? But I listened from the inside, and I was like, whatever it is, I have to do this. I don't know. I can't explain it to anybody or even myself. I just know that it's very clear to me. And I did it, and it made me like find my whole life, really. Because I was coming from the soul place, which is beyond seichel. Like I'm in this, like, you know, Ivy League school. It's all about, you know, build your brain and be stronger and smarter and faster. That's you know, I don't want to say, God forbid, that, you know, all those guys who are competing and whatever are miserable, but they might be. You know, hopefully they found, and they're finding their way in from a soul voice. But without that, life, it's not like life is fun, actually. But it is. Because then you apply your body, right? The physical is like such a crass, like heavy reality that we have to deal with. But when we come from the inside place of connection and emunah, so then we can activate the actual physical self to be like on fire and doing things like even from there. But it has to come from that way. It's not the other way around. It's not like I got smart enough to understand, okay, there's God, now I'm going to start. No, that's not how it works. That's naseh v'nishma, like, you know, in a word. That's the you know, how could you say naseh when you don't even know what it is? Because that's what it is. That's what the connection is beyond knowing what it is, which is so beautiful. And this deeper knowing that we're talking about, of listening to our inner self. What is it's like this, the soul, our soul inside of us is connected. I'll share with you I won't look at my notes, and I'll share with you everything I remember without looking. When we were standing there, you know, it's like the famous part when Hashem first is giving us the Torah and our souls are flying out of us, right? We like died and our souls flew out of us. What is that all about? So the panemiut of understanding that is that the soul it knows Hashem. It is light. It is Torah. When the soul, without a body limiting it, is completely in the fullness of divine knowledge and connection. So when Hashem gave us the Torah, which is Himself, He gave us this like opening to this world. Our souls completely got it. That's what it makes sense that they flew out. It was perfect for them to fly out. That's what they are. And so knowing that, and then what happens though? We're people in a body. So we need to learn to be in touch with that inner place inside this shell that we carry around, and get the body, the shell, to, you know, coming from the inside, from an emunah place, a place of actually light inside of us. It's like it's like a holy of holies inside of our heart. And when to get there, we have to listen. We have to paint. I mean, not to paint, but for me, when I paint, I just I don't know why, but I feel glad. I'm like, this is like my line when I start painting a little bit. I'm like, I'm like, I love this. Like, that's my soul saying, like, beyond anything you could ever explain to me, like, I'm here, I'm alive. And that's kind of all we need to know. You know what I mean? Like, all the other stuff, like, and it doesn't have to be painting for everyone, but I do feel like painting is, there's a freedom in painting of when you don't think like, oh, I have to do something specific. Like, just say like, I'm just the actual action of taking a brush. It's like so simple. You're taking a stick with some, synthetic hairs on it, and you're picking up a little color and you're touching it to a piece of paper. That's all it is. And the simplicity of that is engaging your physical self with the voice inside. That's partially also why it's intimidating, because we're a little bit afraid of it. We're not used to it. We're not used to it coming through. So getting over that, is really, really essential for happiness. And it doesn't mean that we have to be painters one way or another. It's I find painting, I don't think it's just because I love painting. Like, if you look at all the different types of art, they have, most of them have all these skills that you have to acquire to do anything. With painting, you can pour paint, you can stir paint, you can spray paint, you can do anything with paint, and it's a painting. And you moved yourself and materials and color and made a thing. So that is your soul talking, whether you like it or not. And we should like it, but like it's okay. Like to let ourselves like it, the more we let ourselves just open to letting it come through, the more we will like it, because it's just great. Like it's just connection. It's all good. It's fine. And worrying about what anyone thinks it looks like or what it looks like, even myself, is not the point at all. It has nothing to do with anything. That's like totally secondary. Really. The fact that I have paintings that people like and they get prints of them and they're in their houses, whatever, it's secondary. The fact that it came through and it's nice for them is wonderful bonus that happened. But the actual experience of it, of letting it come through, that's what it's about. Like, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that's what it's about. Okay, so I'm gonna put on a song so we can, even though we are speakers, should I go get my instrument? You wanna sing? We don't have speakers at the moment. But we have this new original sound for musicians on function.
So what did you play in the morning?
Just on the computer. We can do it directly on the computer. It's fine. I'll put on a song. And we should paint a little and try to just, this idea of like that feeling of like, what do I like? What gets me like excited in Torah? What's a direction that I'd like to go deeper in? And that's a starting point. Okay, where is it? YouTube. Here we go.
Time charging money for things because I love it.
Right. That's also another thing, though.
No.
Like for me, the fact that it became like a way that I make money, getting over that took me so many years. I mean, I still need to get over it and charge the right amount for things sometimes where I'm like, sure, I'll do some like crazy project for someone for like almost nothing because I just want to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to be careful.
I also like with interior design, people have a hard time paying for ideas. They know how to pay for a chair or light fixture, I don't know what. But
to concretize.
But it's so exciting.
I know. I mean, look at me tonight. I'm literally like, where? It's like so exciting. It's like that. I mean, we should halavai that we can live like that. It's really.
Call me.
Go.
אלוהי
נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא אתה בראתה, אתה יצרת, אתה נפחת בי ואתה משמרה בקרבי ואתה עתיד לתלה ממני ולחזירה בי לעתיד לבוא כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותיי ריבון כל המעשים אדון כל הנשמות ריבון כל המעשים אדון כל הנשמות אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה אתה בראתה, אתה יצרת, אתה נפחת בי ואתה משמרה בקרבי ואתה עתיד לתלה ממני ולהחזירה בי לעתיד לבוא
יהודה, ומה שבטוח שטוב לך שמה אחרת לא היית מוסיף לחייך אלינו ביום ובלילה.
אהוב שלנו, דש מלמטה, ובזכותך אומרים כל בוקר, אלוהי נשמה בכוונה, ולא נשכח אותך, כי לנו היית במתנה.
אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותיי ריבון כל המעשים אדון כל הנשמות ריבון כל המעשים אדון כל הנשמות אדון כל הנשמות
כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך זמן שהנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך
אני כבר לא מפחיד, אה?
כל המעשים המשתחוו לפניך כל הברואים ויעשו כולם הגדולך
Okay. Yes, so.
I just attached the
Great. I'm so happy. This is Wow, so sweet, Shlomo. So, so I do want to say something, even though it's like touchy subject and it's hard and whatever. I do want to say something about the matzav, like right now, like our moment. It's like so hard with this like negotiating with the devil or whatever you want to say, and like so Rabbi Nachman, because it's like it's a question, right? It's like how the heck could it be so messed up, the world, like that there's like, you know, people that seem to have brains, like they don't. They're like grown adults and they have an education and they're falling for, they're like speaking this other side. Even seemingly like should be normal type people are doing that, and then it's like, so to frame it, to kind of there's the way that every single person experiences it, and then there's like the panemiut of like what's really going on. And it is true, like these are real people and real families and real consequences of, you know, like unbelievable pain and loss. Yes, there's that level. It's a real reality part of what is going on, and the deeper level of war. So Rav Kook talks about this, and Rabbi Nachman talks about it. And Rabbi Nachman says that when there's a big war in the world, it's actually a reflection of an inner war, and it's our. So what does that mean? Meaning, inside of each of us as individuals and a people, we are at war. Meaning, there's a force that exists inside of us, whether it's a voice or a force or whatever it might be, that's espousing lies and taking hostages and, God forbid, killing and the inside ourselves. And to understand it in this way, it is scary, and it's the war that we have to win, because like we said, everything's from the inside out. So the way we're going to win the outside war is to do it on the inside. So what does it mean? And I'm speaking this out loud to try also understand it myself, because I want to do this together. Like, and feel free to reflect, because it's like a deep. It's a very, very deep, and it's a hard concept, and it's hard to deal with. But I want to try because when you think about it, the situation that we're in with these monsters, evil people having, taken the spotlight and taken more energy of people of the world in, like, say that each person is a world, right? Mm-hmm. So within us, there's something that is taking energy, that is on the front headlines, that has been convincing more of the world to listen to it and to join in the chanting and whatever, God forbid, all that stuff. Recognizing there's something in us that's doing that, and that's this aspect of the hostages and the taking hostages. What does that mean? Meaning what happens on the zooming back out to our experience of like, this terrible experience of hostages being taken. What actually happens to us when that happens? We only love more, right? Bottom line, we care, we realize, it breaks out to the surface, even if we didn't know, like one of the hostages who returned, I don't remember his name, but he came back and he, his brother is like, I love you. He's like, I had to go taken in Chevy by Hamas in Gaza for you to tell me that you love me, right? Like he said it. Right? That was their first seeing each other after almost 500 days of him being in captivity, and his brothers hugging him and loving it. So they obviously didn't have the most easiest relationship before that necessarily, or whatever, who knows. But you know what I mean? There's like this place of, what happens to us when there's hostages taken? We realize, I actually love my brother. I actually love every Jew. Like I love people. I care about life. I actually do. Like it wakes us up. It's like jarring, waking us up to the truth of that we actually care about life, right? Mm-hmm. And we want to save them. We want to get them back. We don't want them to be taken. We want them to live, right? I'm talking on a metaphorical level now also, where it's like inside of ourselves, there's a part of us that take a specific example. Say that there's a voice inside that says, you are worthless, God forbid. That's the evil in the world inside. And it's taking energy because I'm letting it take or whatever. I didn't like fortify myself, like keep my borders clear and not let it happen. They broke in and they took more energy and they're holding it hostage. And then we want to save them. We want to get them out. So we're having this, there's like an actual internal shift that needs to happen here, where we save ourselves, where we save our family members, ourselves. It's our own, our family is ourself. It is us. And so this situation where they're playing with us, with this other side, like when we rose up and the army and hundreds of thousands of soldiers, and we took out a lot of the big guys of the bad guys, and we took out a lot of the terrorists. We messed up their system. We moved everybody around. Like we made movement, mamash. Like so on the inside, also like something's moving and something's changing, but it's not over. And they're still there and saying we won and we're doing this because that's what its existence is. And we can't let it exist inside of us. We have to free those hostages. So the question, I think, with every individual, I think there's like the little me question of like, what do these symbols mean? And there's the individual level. So on an individual level, if I have this messed up way of thinking of backwards, lowly way of thinking, like that I'm worthless, and I listen to it and I give it food and I give it water. I don't cut off electricity to it. I feed it and say, no, don't do that, but I'm feeding it. I'm not winning the war. Like I have to fight it. I have to get to the point where it can't say that anymore. Meaning like to completely wipe out this is like on the outside again, to zoom back out, to completely wipe out that there's not going to be any of these kind of people in the world. It's not even really the point or what needs to happen. It's the ideology. Mm-hmm. Same thing on the inside, meaning that the messed up way of thinking inside of myself that might be from who knows, why, what soul tikkun in this life, another life, someone said to me, or I had a tikkun and I believed that I'm worthless, God forbid. And I need to fight and win the war to make that, just like we don't want Hamas, Yimach Shemam, to be in Gaza or anywhere, to not let those voices be inside of us. To like this idea of the garesh them, to spread them out and take them out of that space and make them go further away, not by the borders. Rav Shmuel said this months ago. I mean, people in the government have said it like for years, but like he's like, nobody wants to say it, but I'm going to say it. Like it would have been a lot cheaper and worked much better to just give everyone a really nice package deal, a flight, an apartment, a job in another place. Just move them. Just move a good, 1.5 million of them, and then you won. So what does that mean? Meaning, like, how do we actually when we say against the Malshinim, they should have no hope, and they should be stopped right away, and they should be uprooted, right? Uprooted meaning, like, wherever it is, like, entrenched in me, I need to identify where it is in me, and I need to uproot it and maybe move it. Because if I have it in myself over here somewhere in my heart, and I uproot it and say, you cannot be there. This area is Kodesh. This is Kodesh Kodeshim. It's my heart. It's Eretz Yisrael. I don't let any evil there. You can go to my toenail, right? And you move it to the toenail. What can it do from there? Nothing. Right? It's not that it's like the uprooting it and to break it and to disperse it and it can't all be in one place, right? Like, that's another thing, like moving them out, to have them not all be in one place and put them in this country and that country and this country, to spread it out. So if there's too much of it to put it all in my toenail would fall off. I'll spread it out through all the toenails or whatever it might be. Like, by spreading it out, it also disperses that voice. You hear it from that distance in that way. It's not a real voice anymore. You realize it's not true. Mm-hmm. You won the war. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So this psychological torture that they're putting us through now, we have to face the fact that this is part of the war, that we also are going through this on the inside, right? That there is like a place of, like, they're losing, but they're making us feel like we're losing, and they're killing us. And Nebuch have killed many, and Yimach Shamam, they should not do that anymore at all. But the fact that they're doing this game of, like, telling the brother, like, or letting one brother out and not the other, and the brother who was let out, he's just like, they're like, we want to give you whatever you need, he's like, bring me my brother.
Yeah.
That's all I want. And he's crying. He's not going to stop crying till his brother comes, right? It's that torture that they're doing. It's this, like, we have to fight the fight until it's won. And what Rav Shlomo was just singing about, how it's like, I'm pretty sure he's singing from, it's like around Yom Kippur, this concert that he did, like, way back in 1973 or something, when it's like Chagim type words of tefillah, which are, what do we say over and over and over again in those tefillot? That the whole world is going to be for you, Hashem. Meaning the winning over of it is that these voices that are saying sheker, that are preaching and living death, that's not, that the whole world turns to, so meaning there's redeemable and there's not redeemable. Most everyone's redeemable. Rav Kook says, I love everyone. Rav Kook says, I can't not love every living being. So if Rav Kook says that, I have to, like, take it very seriously. And I'm sure that it's true. That being said, there exists such a thing as Amalek. And there's that line. And in Western education, they don't teach you about Amalek. They don't teach you that there is a line. They don't. They say that the truth and the highest level of progressive thinking is that everyone is equal and we're all good. That's what this lie that we're fighting on the inside is playing off of. We have to actually admit there's something wrong. It's wrong to listen to that voice, whatever it's saying, the evil, dark side voice inside of each of us. And yes, it's scary and it's terrible, and we're here to win it. We're here to, like, to bring this soul that we were talking about in the beginning of the class, like who we really are, this place deep inside of us, who we really are, that can connect and does connect to infinity, to full light, to full making life grow and build and being besimcha and living life of meaning and purpose. This is who we truly are. And so to go there more, like, how do you eradicate darkness is to bring more light, right? And when the darkness is coming up on like the situation that we're in right now, where we're like, how this day until tomorrow, until Shabbos and last Shabbos, and they're doing this all on Shabbos, like it's mamash torture. It's terrible. And it needs to stop. Like it needs to change. And I'm bringing this up because I feel like it's like we have to fight this war for real. And this thing of Naseh v'Nishma, what we're learning here today is about also how to win the war. Because what we're learning is that our connection with Hashem, our divine connection, it's from the heart. It's not like we're figuring something out. Figuring something out is very limited. Our connection is way beyond that. Naseh v'Nishma, like we're here for it. It's like we don't even have to understand. It's better in a way that like we can't grasp this, right? Like what the heck? Like how do I even grasp what's going on here? And the fact that we can't grasp it is pointing us towards emunah, because that's what it is. The receiving of the Torah is only with emunah. If someone comes with seichel and tries to check it out and see if it's good and figure out the Torah, they're not going to get anywhere. We know what happens with that. It dies in the academic, rooms. And so winning the war, I think, is also coming from that place of like, to some extent, it's like, I want to figure it out, but what do we have to figure out? We just have to be. We just have to that light inside in the face of it when it's like it's torture, and like what are these hostages, like what they've gone through, and the ones that came through with emunah, the ones that were davening, right? That they found a sitter and they davened and they kept Shabbos and they kept track and they came out shining, and I'm sure they have to heal, but like they're coming from a place of connection through being. Their whole self being there, and we are there in a way, but their whole self. And so, if they can do that, we can do it, because we're sitting here, and it's hard, and it was for sure hard for them to do that. Like it's amazing. It's like they, in my mind, they're like the superstars of our generation. These hostages that came out with like Leary is one of those, so like these demuyot, these people that are like, they're beyond people, but they're real people. Mm-hmm. They're real people. They're our brothers and sisters, and they are examples of what we're talking about here. To win this war, meaning like that piece of us that's taken Shevi, that's like in captivity, can connect that to this wellspring of light in the heart that is ours. It's ours. We have it. It can't get taken away from us. It's on the inside. It can't get taken away. But we have to know that it's there, and we have to go there, and we have to live from there. And that's how we receive the Torah. That's who we are, So I just want to throw that in because it's such a moment here with this, and like we all got so connected, and we're supposed to be connected. It's good that we care. It's good that we're broken over it. And to just be broken over it is not the point. Mamash not. Both. Like it's like Rabbi Shimon's son, Rabbi Lazar, asked him, like he's learning about the Beis HaMikdash and also the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. He said, how can I, learn about the highest and most light-bringing thing in the world and its brokenness at the same time? He said, because the heart can hold more than one emotion at the same time. It can be broken and whole at the same time. It's the most real. So we have the chomer, we have all the ingredients to do this, actually. Mm-hmm. And it seems to win, we have to really lean in to the light, lean into the building, lean into that place of like, what like turns me on to Torah? What makes me so like lit that I can't like, I'm like, I can't even go to sleep because I'm thinking about it, and it's so exciting, it's so interesting and amazing. That being like opened in me is freeing captives in me, because it's light shining in me to places that I opened it up. I made that light shine so that where it's a dark place, it could go there and save them in me. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? So those are my thoughts on that. I think it's I've been thinking about the whole war, but it's like hard to verbalize it, but I'm trying. Like it makes sense, I think. And I think it could be fleshed out more, but like I do think that it's very obvious from our teachers that we grow from the inside out. Like that's this example of like the terrible perfect life of the Japanese or whatever, and the like balagan wonderful life of the Jews. Like however much there is to deal with anything and everything, if you're coming from the inside with connection and light and building and growing and going more towards purpose and simcha and connecting to life, there, it's going to be good. And that's our work, like, and our life, being connected to infinity, basically, from that place. Yeah. So, B'ezrat Hashem, we should be blessed to this kesher nishmati. We should feel from the inside and learn to recognize these like holy feelings, and from that deep place be freed. The hostages inside of ourself, the internal stuck places or confused places or locked off places should be lit up with the fact that we're tapping into that place of like, where am I connected? What's very real for me and alive for me? And in each of us doing that as individuals, it should shine in the whole Am Yisrael and in the whole world. And we should share this information. As far as I'm concerned, like, we need to, whenever it's possible, to let people know, guide our friends and family towards this way of looking at things. The sooner we're going to win, the sooner we're going to get out of the cycle of it not being over, because it's not going to be over until it's over. Like, we actually have to do it. We know it. We just actually have to do it. That's been the theme of the day. Yeah. B'ezrat Hashem. And we are doing it. We're much growing. It's so beautiful. On Tu B'Shvat, also tonight, there's like so many things going on.
Oh my gosh.
There's like 10 events that I don't even know what's up. And I'm like from Tzfad, and I'm not like paying attention. And I saw there's like 10 things going on tonight that I would go to, and this. And Tu B'Shvat, there was like, this is wonderful. This is so good. It's so good. Like, everyone should be exactly where they need to be at these. There's this awakening. There's so much coming together, and with more creativity and music and which brings this side out. That's all, when we're all singing, all of a sudden we feel like we all love each other and we're all connected, and it's so uplifting. That's how we're supposed to feel. When we see any Jew, we should always feel like that. There's Jews like that, There's like those Jews, they walk down the street and they're like so happy. They're like, they just like want to sing, and it's a thing. We should all be like that.
On top of cars.
Yeah. Dancing on top of cars. There's different versions. There's also like, the elder Yid who's just like, they've been in the world for so many years, they've been through so much, and they're like smiling and they're laughing and thinking, this kind of people. We're supposed to all be like that. Like, all of us being like that, the world could not have darkness in it. Mamash. The fact that there's like a handful, however many people are already like that, so, let's just make it like 100, 1,000 times as many of those people. The world could not hold any darkness anymore. Yeah.
I wish it was fabulous on Tu B'Shvat. There were dozens and dozens and dozens of places that one could have gone to. I was actually a little bit afraid that
No one would come.
people will not come. And it was packed.
There were so many people, yeah. I came for a little bit. I was just too cold. I couldn't handle the cold. So nice, yeah. And I had an amazing Tu B'Shvat. I'm never here for Tu B'Shvat because Tu B'Shvat's like a tzfat thing also. It's like at the Seder. So I'm usually like, there's stuff happening there. But it worked out because of Shevach that I was here in Yerushalayim. So I stayed and I had an amazing Tu B'Shvat. I went to the Glazers actually.
Okay. Yeah, you went to the Blizzard.
I went to the Glazers.
Yeah,
It was literally all night. It was.
Yeah.
I left at 4:30 in the morning and it was not over.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it wasn't like pauses and stalling and felt like. It felt long, but like in a good way, not like dragged out type long. Not mamash not. It was just so much singing and just being in it and so nice. I was really like, I'm still flying from it actually. Really, really special.
She invited me, and I invited her.
Nice, nice. Nice. I actually saw her this morning. She came to Tzfat last night.
That what?
Leah was in Tzfat last night. I drove her to this morning to Kibbutz Lavi. She was at some kind of a retreat. And she came up to Tzfat for the night and stayed by me, and I drove her there on my way here. So that's why she's not here tonight, because that's why she's not here tonight, because she's still getting back from that retreat.
Yeah, I saw there was light at their house. I thought, why she's not here, then she'll probably come, but I guess she had other...
She's just not back yet. She wrote me just right before class saying, I'm not back yet. She wanted to come. So Hashem, next time. You guys want to share anything? I knew I was going to be like overflowing talking, so I got very excited.
I'm cool.
It's good. I mean, it's good when that happens, but I also, there's space. You can also talk. I would love to hear like reflections back. Also. Hashem.
I think it's really true, like what you said about studying, like what makes you, like what you want to study.
Yeah.
Like when I was in seminary, like I struggled with like the place I was at, and I didn't feel like spiritually fed there. And a teacher there told me that like I should focus on studying more of what actually speaks to me.
Nice.
And that advice like really changed. Like
it's so good.
It's really good. So like it reminded me of what you said.
That's so good. Thank God that you had that teacher say that too.
I know.
Because not everybody gets that.
I know.
Like I feel like we need like to tell everyone that. Like put little signs in all the schools. Like learn what you love. Something like simple where it's just like people like see it everywhere. Because it eventually like it could be encouraged a lot from the outside, but it's unique.
Yeah.
You know. And it's so true.
It is so true.
It's so good. So good to know that. It's like one of those like lesser known really good secrets that should not be a secret.
It should not.
It should not be a secret. Like we need to let it out.
Yeah.
We need to get it out to the world. All the seminaries and yeshivas. I'm sure there's, it's happening here and there that people are speaking that way, but more,
Yeah, more people are starting to talk like that.
Yeah.
Which is fabulous.
It's like Shlomo said, like we need a new kind of education where the teacher believes in the student. It's kind of saying the same thing. It's like if I believe in someone, I'm gonna want to help them find their path in Torah because I want to. A teacher is supposed to help their students come into fruition,
succeed,
and have the tools that they need to really bring themselves into actualization.
That's a real teacher.
And so obviously, like as if it's obvious, but like they should say to the students, like, find what you love, go with what you love.
Right.
If that's what a real teacher is, that's obviously what they should be doing. So God willing, all the teachers should be hearing us right now, and they should just be so inspired to. I bet it's happening. Like, it could literally be this moment that suddenly all these teachers, they're having these conversations with their students, and they realize this student, you can see when students are responsive. You can see when they like light up and they're engaged when you're talking. And so to notice that and encourage, like you could be aware and like reflect back, like, I saw, in this moment we're talking about midrash or whatever, in general, just pnimiut of the Torah, it's good for everyone, but it's a super important, like within the pnimiut of the Torah, are you drawn towards tefillah? Are you drawn towards the stories? Or, like whatever it is, it's good.
Yeah.
And it sounds so like simple and tamim, but that's naseh v'nishma, the tamimut, the simplicity of who we are. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, also, I need to look this up, hopefully for next time. But he said, he didn't actually quote it, but he said that Rav Kook has a whole section about returning to the tamimut of childhood and how important it is, which is this subject also. Like healing whatever we've been through is one thing, but like a grown up, you go through stages where you grow up. but to make a conscious effort and to awaken and reawaken the tamimut of the heart like a child. This is also part of the key. It's all in theme. But I wrote down where he said it is, so I'm going to try to find it, like the actual sources, because he just like mentioned it. Because that sounds like really good, like
That sounds
if we're supposed to be doing it, so we should read it and,
Right.
you know. So I'll try to find it. Here, I'll highlight it for myself with some yellow paint. So I don't forget. So exciting. It's called Otzer Emunat Hayaldut.
Otzer
Otzer Emunat Hayaldut. The treasury of the faith of childhood, childhood faith. And it's in Orot Atchia. All great names.
Make sure in life try to actually do that.
Yeah. We need to make an effort to do it, because
Some things get messed up like throughout life, and then your job is to go back and get things
right, exactly.
clean and simple.
Nachor. And to shed our life experiences, and sometimes what adults say to us, or an older sibling, or whoever it might have been, can put a klipa, and we have to take it off.
I feel like the student's mimut comes only after other stages. You don't start with the student's mimut, you earn it. And then,
As an adult.
as
A child is, but like we do start like that as a child, but to keep it like from childhood all the way through is a very unique situation with some type of, Baal Shem Tov reality or something. Like probably the Baal Shem Tov did. Like I don't think he lost it. Like it's like, you know what I mean? But we all have that capacity, and wherever we are in our lives, it's there. Hashem mecharesh b'kol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. Everything is constantly renewed. So we have to, like, it's not just a cool line. We have to really believe that. Like, to live believing that, it can free us from all the things. These ideas that we went through, like, to earn the tamimut and the pashtut, like, this mantra of, like, Hashem is making it all new all the time. I'm new. Whatever is a clip on me, I want to shed it. I want to let it off. I want to let it go. I want to be free of that and return to my heart, to the truth of my heart, and to speak that way to ourselves, Yeah, and to listen. This is what Shlomo is singing to. This is why people love Shlomo also. It really is, because he's singing to the soul in that way, where we get these very serious people singing and dancing. Like, that's why. That's why we need it. We need to live like that. It's a big challenge, but we can do it. Baruch Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you guys so much for coming, and more to come. B'ezrat Hashem. Do you want to share anything, Ricky? I hope that you enjoyed. I'm so happy you came.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
2
very
times
much.
in 1 week. Yes.
Yep, what a
So
scoot. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
Good night.
Toda rava. Oops, I'm pressing the wrong button.